Tonight, Ralph Klein fires some shots at the federal government, but is it a diversion from Bill 11? A house fire leaves one family homeless and destroys another home. And the bidding is high at this year's Chuck Wagon Tarp auction.
CFCN News with Jane Carrigan.
Good evening. Premier Ralph Klein stepped up his attack on the federal government tonight at a Tory fundraiser. The Premier took aim at a long list of federal ministers, particularly Health Minister Alan Rock. Critics say the Premier is trying to divert attention from his health care bill, but Klein says that is not the case. Jeff Little has more.
With rumors of an anti-private health care protest, police were on hand. But there were no Liberals, no friends of Medicare, only loyal Klein conservatives. And they were happy to pay $375 a plate for a healthy serving of Liberal bashing.
That, my friends, is why I say to you tonight in both sadness and anger that there is an agenda at work in Ottawa that once again seems unable or unwilling to grasp the emergence of the new West.
The Premier took aim at a long list of federal Liberals, particularly Federal Health Minister Alan Rock. Rock visited Calgary last week. Klein took exception to the unannounced, uninvited visit. Critics say Premier Klein is trying to deflect the debate away from Bill 11. He denies that. Still, there is acknowledgement that gaining support for the bill has been difficult. In Edmonton, another setback. After meeting with the Premier, the president of Alberta's Medical Association said that Bill 11 is unacceptable.
Well, we believe that there would have to be major changes in the bill before we could support it for sure, and it might be easier to make a new bill. I don't know. I'm not a legislator.
I was very disappointed because you had to be in that meeting in my office, and I thought it was a very constructive meeting. And I gather from the news conference that he indicated that there was no progress made. Well, there was progress.
On hand for the Premier's dinner, the President and CEO of the Health Resource Centre, the private medical clinic at the heart of the Bill 11 debate.
I think the details aren't getting out as clear as they should. The Premier continues to make information available, but the opposition continues to provide a lot of false information to people.
In the meantime, critics say it's the government that is trying to mislead Albertans. And as the debate over the issue grows, both sides will wage a public relations battle to convince Albertans that the other side isn't telling the truth. Jeff Little, CFCN News.
Meanwhile, Federal Health Minister Alan Rock is asking his provincial counterparts not to descend into the gutter. He was responding to attacks by Premier Klein and Ontario Premier Mike Harris. A family is homeless tonight, and property damage is set at almost $500,000 after a fire in the southeast. It happened just before 6 this evening in Mackenzie Town. The fire broke out in a house under construction. The house had just been framed, and firefighters say the blaze spread quickly. Flames damaged the exteriors of 2 nearby homes. One home was finished and was occupied, but luckily no one was home when the fire broke out. It took 7 rigs and 20 firefighters to get the blaze under control. The fire department says it's not sure what sparked the fire, but a ruptured natural gas line and a propane tank fueled the blaze.
There was a 100-pound propane tank that was free-flowing. As well, the second house was attached to natural gas, and the natural gas was free-flowing as well, so a fairly dangerous situation to start off with.
No one was injured in the fire, and crews will remain on the scene for some time to clean up any hot spots.
I'm David Spence from the CFCN Skywatch Weather Center. Warm weather on the way starting tomorrow, carrying right through the weekend as well. Look at that, a high temperature of 5 as the wind swings around to the west tomorrow afternoon, and we get into Chinook cloud, Chinook wind, and just a sloppy day. We'll have all the details coming up later.
Thanks, David. Wild well experts trying to control a blowout in the southern part of the province are making some headway. The Crestar oil well northeast of the hamlet of Enchant blew out Sunday morning. It has been burning out of control ever since. In fact, it's been burning 10 million cubic feet of natural gas a day. The development well was nearing its target in the huge Little Bow oil field when the crew experienced a kick or a spurt of high-pressure gas. When unacceptable levels of the poisonous gas were detected at a nearby farm, energy and utility officials ordered the escaping gas ignited. Dick and Sharon Wiest were among the first to be evacuated from the area. They returned to their home last night.
When I went out last night, I didn't even have to take my flashlight. It was so bright to see anything was wrong with them. That's how bright it was.
It must be our age because we had trouble sleeping.
It was pretty noisy.
It was noisy. Yeah, it really was. And even the couch will vibrate when you sit and watch TV, but we noticed during the night it would wake you up. But we survived.
Crestar Energy has a veterinarian checking on cattle in the area, including a 30,000 head feedlot. Well, it seems Americans with bad eyesight can still spot a good deal. Many are coming to Calgary and other Canadian cities to get laser eye surgery. Thousands make the trip because they can save a lot of money, and that makes money for local clinics. Kevin Rich has more.
He is the main reason why thousands of Americans are coming to Calgary and other parts of Canada for laser eye surgery.
It's the exact same procedure, it's the exact same equipment. The skill set of the people who care for you is every bit as high as these other places. It's just, you get it for a lot less money.
In the United States, laser eye surgery costs about $4,000 US per eye. In Canada, the same procedure costs about $1,500 Canadian for both eyes. LASIK Vision, for instance, does about 4,000 surgeries nationwide every month. Half of those are done on Americans crossing the border. Canada is cheaper because here eye doctors are set up in surgery clinics. In the U.S., they're still doing it the old way.
If you were interested in getting your eyes done and you talked to your eye doctor about it, they would typically refer you to a clinic where you would go and pay, say, the $4,000. After you'd had the procedure done, you would go back to your eye doctor for some follow-up examinations, and your eye doctor would receive part of the fees you had paid to that clinic.
But Americans may not be coming to Canada much longer for eye surgery. More full-service eye surgery clinics in the U.S. are turning to the Canadian model, where all pre- and post-operative care is done in-house, avoiding referral fees. But what's good for Americans will mean less business for Canadian eye clinics. In Calgary, LASIK Canada will see fewer Americans thanks to its new LASIK clinics in the United States. And at the Gimbal Clinic in Calgary, about 20% of clients come from south of the border. Kevin Rich, CFCN News.
And it's expected that in the next year, 20 major eye clinics will open in the U.S. Well, a truce has been struck between two organizations fighting over rental space. The Cliff Bungalow Mission Community Association was locked out of its building because of complaints from its co-tenant. The city changed the locks to the facility after the Community Association and the Montessori School got into a dispute. Negotiators have resolved the dispute for now, and the Community Association says it has a new set of keys.
It was a great surprise, actually, that the city's willing to come back to the table and talk, and that we're able to be in our building so we can continue doing the things that our association does. So I guess it's not really a coup d'etat, it's a beginning.
If there is no final agreement in 6 weeks, the dispute could be back in the courts. Residents of Elbow Park can rest easy tonight. Dozens of trees in their area have been saved, but it's going to cost the city some money. These popular trees, which are 70 to 80 years old, were at risk of being chopped down because of a sewer project. Residents were outraged and launched a ribbon campaign. The area alderman says the upgrade needs to be done because of flooding in Elbow Park and other nearby communities. A decision was made not to destroy or even move the trees. However, the cost of the project could be going up by as much as 20% to around $4 million. Residents have a chance now to look at some of those options. An open house will be held on March 28th. Well, coming up next on the CFCN Late Night News, can people really have psychic abilities? We'll find out in tonight's Molecules and Mysteries. Stay with us. We're back after this.
CFCN News, sponsored by Fitness Depot, Calgary's home fitness superstore.
Want better results? Call Royal LePage Foothills. 777-0333.
Mommy, can you refill that Glade plug-in, please?
For lasting freshness, don't forget to refill your Glade plug-ins.
Plug it in, plug it in.
Flame broiled burger, processed cheese, crispy bacon, tomato, lettuce. $1.49. Mouth-watering burger, processed cheese, bacon, tomato, lettuce. The Bacon Cheese Whopper Jr. At this price, it's worth repeating.
When you have it your way, Canada, it just tastes better. One more chance to catch them all. Starts March 13th.
Imagine this boomerang represents the pain of sensitive teeth. Brush with Sensodyne, and it helps the pain go away. But stop brushing, and the pain returns. But if you brush twice a day, every day, even when you don't have pain, Sensodyne maintains an invisible barrier that helps stop the pain from coming back. That's why it's #1 with dentists and hygienists for sensitive teeth. Sensodyne, twice a day, helps the pain stay away.
Presenting the new Nissan Altima. Nissan Altima. It just looks expensive.
If you watch late-night television, you've probably seen ads for psychics like JoJo. Shows dealing with psychic phenomena are becoming more and more popular, but many people want to know, is it all hype, or can people really have psychic ability? Well, Najma Yaksan explores the topic in tonight's Molecules and Mysteries.
Charmed is a television series about 3 sisters who solve mysteries with psychic and supernatural powers. It's TV fantasy, but people who say they have psychic abilities are very real. We took a co-worker with us to meet Calgary psychic Thomas Belford. Thomas says he reads palms and tarot cards.
This is the fate line that runs up here. That's the allergy line. And the fate line tells me about a person's career and their choices and when they'll get major turmoils happening in their life or when things will be really smooth. You'll probably be doing 2 things for a career at once for quite a while.
Thomas says lines on the left hand represent life potential. The right hand shows how far you've come. He says the tarot cards allow him to give month-by-month readings.
The card on top of the deck represents the overtone for the year, and this is the card of having a boss or a patron or somebody that likes what you're doing that's willing to financially reward you for what you're doing. So usually with this card, people get a raise.
Thomas told Lisa he saw her career getting even better with a new job offer in June.
Intellectually, I know what's going on from the tools that I use, but intuitively, I just get a strong sense of it. And I'm not exactly sure how it happens, but it happens, so I don't question it.
Other psychics, like Donna Kiss, say they're clairvoyants and mediums. They say they can hear voices, see visions, and contact people who have passed away.
Donna says her information comes from people in spirit. She remembers a time when she helped a woman who lost her son by giving her a very personal bit of information.
Any healing that had to be done was done just then. I feel the purpose is that if we know that we're more than our physical bodies, if we know that the soul goes on, that there are karmic repercussions for everything that we do, then we live our lives in a different way.
Dr. John Edmondson is a Calgary psychologist. He says readings are often very general, and to date, no controlled studies have shown that psychics actually have a special ability.
See, if I start talking to you about your life and I begin to say things about some struggles you went through to make a decision in your career, would you go into the field of journalism or the media, or should you go into the science? You might say, oh my God, right? But I'm making a guess, and I'm watching you, and I'm reading your reactions as I'm talking to you, and then I can sharpen it based upon your reactions.
For their part, the psychics we talk to say it doesn't bother them if people don't believe they're for real. They say many skeptical people go away with a whole different view on the matter after a personal reading. Najma Yaksan, CFCN News.
Well, David Spence is ready to predict some warm weather for this weekend. Right now in Calgary, mostly cloudy skies and +2 degrees, and he will have our complete weather forecast next. Stay with us.
When you've got a tough headache, it takes just one small thing to make you miserable. For fast relief, remember, one Advil is often enough. Advil, for today's tough pain.
When I'm submerged in my studies, I don't always eat right. That's why I take Centrum every day for complete vitamin and mineral support. I study the science of the sea, but I trust the science of Centrum. It helps make my day complete.
I figure there's no better way to start the day than with a cup of joe and the paper. Hi, I'm Bob. It's in depth, you know, it's got a lot of stuff, good stuff I read.
Well, it was fun at first. You would always have a story or two, or three.
It's about being informed. Stuff.
They were good stories, mind you.
Thank you. Hard work? Nah, it's just what it takes to finish a job well done.
Hold it. You don't have to read the whole paper. Pick what's important to you. Now that's time well spent.
Well, the numbers are in on the winter. Meteorological winter is December, January, and February. So in March, even though we haven't crossed that line yet into spring, astrologically, we are meteorologically. Bottom line is, with winter done, the numbers are in. And this winter in Canada, the 4th warmest, the 27th driest, and we've gone through 11 seasons in a row of above normal temperatures now across the country. Here's a look at our satellite shot. What's happening tonight? The band of cloud moving across southern Alberta right now. In behind it, the sky clearing out, the wind shifting around to the west. Things are shaping up to be very nice for tomorrow. Here we have first a little bit of warmer air moving through, followed by some cooler air, moisture back in British Columbia, but a good blast of warm Pacific air is expected to follow through tomorrow and keep us warm, dry, and for the most part sunny in southern Alberta. Here's the forecaster with the snow back into the mountains now. We'll advance it to tomorrow morning. The sky over Calgary clears out and continues to do so through the course of the day right across most of southern Alberta, and we have the precipitation in the mountains. It's a typical Chinook situation with snow in the mountains, sunny, windy, and warm conditions elsewhere. The wind also along the foothills in northern Alberta was 6 for Grand Prairie, 3 at high level. Fort McMurray will be mainly sunny with a high temperature of +2, and warm temperatures will prevail throughout the rest of the province as well. Could be some snow at higher elevations in the mountains with temperatures of 5 in Jasper, 3 in Banff, windy for Edmonton and Red Deer. And for southern Alberta, we're looking at very strong wind in the southwestern part of the province. Strong Chinook wind through Crow's Nest Pass into Lethbridge. High there 8 degrees, 6 for Medicine Hat, 7 in Cranbrook with some rain showers possibly mixed with the partly sunny sky, and 5 degrees is the forecast high for Calgary tomorrow. Tomorrow night will drop down to -6, and then Saturday will be the warmest day of the period with Chinook cloud and a high temperature of 8 degrees. That's 6 for Sunday. We should do that by noon on Sunday. Then the temperature will fall through the day, and then we're into some cooler weather for Monday and Tuesday with temperatures back down to the lower single digits, which is right about normal for this time of year.
All right, thanks, David. Glenn's in with a look at sports and a lot of action down at the Stampede grounds with Rodeo Royale kicking off tonight.
You know it's spring.
Yeah.
When it's the tarp auction and Rodeo Royale, and yes, we are going to go off to the rodeo. We've got some action from the bulls. Highlights of that and a whole lot more when we come back.
CFCN Skywatch Camera, sponsored by the Alberta Society of Engineering Technologists. We make Alberta happen.
Times have changed. WASC has changed. Furniture and mattresses for every room in your home, now all at discount prices. Only at the new WASC Furniture Fashions, the discounter of fine home furnishings.
It's time to collect again. Monopoly's back at McDonald's. You could collect to win or win instantly. There are millions in prizes to be won. Steal game pieces from more McDonald's favorites than ever before. But hurry, some people are a bit serious about collecting.
Wonderful, exciting, more convenient, the best. That's what customers say about the new WASC. Superior quality, widest selection, better than sale prices. Only at the new WASC Furniture Fashions, the discounter of fine home furnishings.
Flame broiled burger, processed cheese, crispy bacon, tomato, lettuce. $1.49? Mouth-watering burger, processed cheese, bacon, tomato, lettuce. The Bacon Cheese Whopper Jr. At this price, it's worth repeating.
When you have it your way, Canada, it just tastes better. One more chance to catch them all. Starts March 13th.
Trouble doesn't wear a watch.
That's why State Farm offers its 24-hour Good Neighbor service.
Hello, State Farm's Good Neighbor Service. This is Gina. How may I help you? Sure, I can help you with that.
So you can call your agent's office at any time, day or night, to start a claim, ask a question, and get the help you need.
Here's a peek at what's up next on Open Mic with Mike Bullard.
Now, Bruce Allen also manages Brian Adams and Anne Murray. Is Anne Murray mankind?
Open Mic with Mike Bullard next on CTV.
Good evening. Talked to a lot of people after the chuck wagon auction, and they said it was a pretty strange night. Started off very strong, but sagged big time after the first 4 or 5 drivers. Jason Glass brought it up, and in the end, they had $1,663,500 spent on this year's wagons. A record high bid recorded right off the bat.
165,000.
Skyreach nabbed 7-time world and Stampede champ Kelly Sutherland for this year's Rangeland Derby. As you heard, the cost $165,000. Next highest bid went to Buddy Bensmiller. Copenhagen Inc. got him for $120,000. Jason Glass back with Shaw GMC. They paid $100,000. Sutherland may be the king, but he knows the pressure's on to win again.
I kind of had a bad feeling. You know, there was nobody that called me that seemed to have, you know, a budget that was in that line except for him. But there was a woman bidding at the top, and if I could find her, I'd kiss her, you know, because, I mean, she kept bidding, and she pushed Barry, and I could see him. He was nervous, about as nervous as I was, I think, and anyways, I'm just really happy.
Yeah, this has been probably the 3rd or 4th year that I've had Copenhagen, and when the sponsor and the driver can build up a relationship, I mean, it's so much better for the sponsor and the driver as well.
Until tonight, I didn't know what was going on. I just wanted to sell for what I sold for last year, but I knew a lot of guys had lost their sponsors, and I'd lost mine, and Steve Found and Doug Paulgard started working with the other zone guys, and they got enough money together to go, but till tonight, I was sweating.
And the average bid was $45,000. The partners back with Jess Willard, they got him for $33,000. You know, when it's chuck wagon auction time, the Stampede isn't too far off, and it also means Rodeo Royal is off and running, and we have the highlights from, yes, indeed, the Bulls, and this is BJ Cramps of Crooked Creek, Alberta, on Gargoyle. Cramps rode the big bull to an 82, and yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good ride, but BJ pays the price, gets thrown into the chutes, and yes, there's a look at your score. You're going to be happy. Craig McPhee, not as lucky tonight. Cowboy from Edson on Wild Thing, and just take a look at this. He goes head-to-head with the bull, and you're going to lose when that happens. He was knocked out. Good news, he's all right. Whew, that's what happens when you step in the rings with the Bulls. Your top ride tonight turned in by this guy. Carson Legault of Val-Marie, Saskatchewan, scored an 84 on download, and all 4 Cowboys ended up riding the Bulls tonight. The other 6 bucked off. Now let's take a look at the overall leaders in the rest of the events. Travis Whiteside had an 80 on Divine Wind, so he leads in the bareback. There you see a split in the Saddle Bronc, Ross Krautzer, and 81 in Heaven's Gate. In tonight's performance, Guy Shapka had an 81 on Exciting Thrill. Cash Myers, the lead in calf roping, he took his calf down an 8.5. Steer wrestling, good time for Gene Wyard. He has the overall lead. Ladies barrel racing, Haley Willis turns in a great time tonight, 13.12, to give her the overall lead. As each night passes, the Flames fall further and further down in the West. Last night, the Ducks moved a point ahead of them. Tonight, the Canucks with a chance to do the same thing as they were at home to the Buffalo Sabres. And we'll pick it up in the first game, tied at 1. Canucks on the power play. Marcus Naslund beats Martin Biron, gave the Canucks their first lead of the game. They'd add that before the end of the first. Todd Bertuzzi runs into Biron, gets his own rebound, scores, and Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff not at all happy. Second period now, 3-2 Vancouver. They're on the power play. Marcus Naslund waits and fires it past Biron, second of the night. Canucks in control. Same power play. Andrew Castle sets up Matthias Oland. 5-2 Canucks, and now with the score 6-2. Biron, well, he'd had just about enough. Runs into Matt Cook and gives him a shot for good measure. Frustrating night for Buffalo. The Canucks now 1 point up on the Flames in the West. Buffalo here Saturday night. Get the feeling Dominic Hasek may start and goal for Buffalo. Now let's check out the Eastern Conference. Montreal Canadiens and Pittsburgh Penguins tied for the 8th and final playoff spot. Both teams in action tonight. Habs in Philly to play the Flyers, and Philadelphia gets on the board first. Rick Tocchet with the goal. Beats Jeff Hackett 1-0. No more scoring till the third. Dinah Zubris to Sergei Zholtok beats Johnny Van Beesbrook. Tied at 1, and that's the way this one ends up. An important point for the Canadiens. They're still in it despite all their injuries. Now let's check out the new-look Penguins. They were at home to the Florida Panthers. Pavel Bure with the big shot on the power play. He scores as he does every game, and it's 1-0 for FLA. Penguins get it back in the second, 4-on-4. Yuri Slager with a shot from the point. Goes in off a Panther pass. Trevor Kidd will tie it 1 later in the second. Panthers with the giveaway. Josef Baranek, he's one of the new guys. Beats Kidd. His first game back with the Pens. 2-1. Now let's go to the third. Penguins on the power play. Bob Bugner, another new guy. Beats Kidd 3-1, and the Pens go on to beat the Cats 4-2. With the win, Pittsburgh moves into sole possession of 7th in the East. Florida continues to struggle. Big matchup, JLA tonight. Wings and Leafs. Dmitry Kristich back in the lineup. He scores 2-0. Third period, Wings battle back. Sergei Fedorov to Steve Yzerman pulls the trigger. Power play goal. We're tied at 2. Wings tasted their first lead of the game. A few minutes later, Yzerman splits the deal. Great move to beat Curtis Joseph. Second of the night, 3-2. Now seconds left, 9 seconds to be exact. Leafs pressing for the equalizer. Thomas Caberlet to Steve Thomas, who headed for OT. A minute into the extra frame, Chris Chelios gets a stick up on Igor Korolev. That's a 4-minute penalty, and as you can see, Korolev is cut. The Leafs take advantage. Thomas to Caberlet, over to Matt Sundin. Scars. There it is, 5-4. A big win for the Leafs. They now lead the Ottawa Senators by 7 for first in the Northeast. And the games that people don't really care about. Predators surprise the Avalanche, end up in a 2-2 tie. The Bruins blew a 4-2 lead. They lose 5-4 to the Hawks. And not good news for the Bruins' playoff hopes. And in the battle of the bottom feeders, Islanders double up the Thrashers 4-2. Say Trojans looking to go to a perfect 2-0 at the National College Hockey Championships in North York, and the Trojans continue to roll. Beat Sir Sanford Fleming 7-1. State has outscored their opponent 16-4 in their first 2 games. In basketball, the CCAA Women's Basketball National Championships open up today at Mount Royal College. Both the Cougars and Trojans playing for the title, and the #1 ranked Cougars took on the 8th ranked University Kings College tonight, and the Cougars led 36-17 at the half. They'd go on to beat the Kings at 68-47. Top scorer for Mount Royal was Annie Walker, 25 points. She was also the player of the game. So Mount Royal off to a good start at the Nationals. They keep their undefeated season intact. As for St. Sainte-Foy, beats them 77-62. A leading scorer for the Trojans, Lori Jackson, she had 17. Chantel Bellavance had 17 for the Dynamiques. And it's been a mass exodus for the Stamps this year, but today some good news. Quarterback Dave Dickinson and offensive lineman Thomas Rayam will be back with the club for at least the next 2 years. Both Rayam and Dickinson believe last year was a learning experience, and the offense will be a whole lot better for it this year.
I thought the middle of the year was probably, I wasn't improving like I wanted to, but towards the end of the year, I thought my play was picking up if I could just keep my shoulder inside the joint there, and it kept dislocating. So as long as like my shoulder was staying in good, I thought my play was improving. I'd like to just carry it into next year.
Well, I think definitely he's going to be a better quarterback, and I think we're going to be better coaches for it. I think we understand maybe some of the problems that occurred last year and how to deal with them. And you know, Dave's a very intelligent, quick learner, and I think from that perspective, he'll help himself.
We've got a core here that's unbelievable, and we've got some players that have really stepped up their game in just the last year, and I've seen it from being a guy on the other side playing in Edmonton, playing these guys. You've always had to come in here and play, and that core is still here. And me being here is just an additive, I believe, and being here at training camp this year is just tremendous.
And Dickinson says he is making progress from off-season shoulder surgery. He expects to be ready for the opening of training camp in June.
Let's hope he is. Yeah. All right, thanks, Glenn. Coming up next, it would be a big milestone for most people, but for this woman, her birthday is, well, just another day. That's next. Stay with us.
Times have changed. Wask has changed. Furniture and mattresses for every room in your home, now all at discount prices. Only at the new Wask Furniture Fashions, the discounter of fine home furnishings.
Even guarantees.
aren't guarantees anymore. But at Blockbuster, we still guarantee our most popular movies are in, or they're yours, free next time. So come to Blockbuster for guaranteed to be there hits like The Bone Collector.
A street-smart cop must be the eyes and ears for a paralyzed forensics expert in order to capture a serial killer. The Bone Collector, rated 18A, starring Denzel Washington and Angelina Jolie from Universal Studios.
Guaranteed at Blockbuster. Who else offers you that?
That's Crenshaw's office. That kid sure burns the midnight oil.
You should give him a raise.
I think I will.
I get home from work, settle down, and get right to it. Hi, I'm Barb, and I read the paper.
She's a get-to-it kind of gal. I admire her for that.
It's all there. Everything in black and white. And color.
My mom's missed a few things. Games, my first dance.
Some days are bigger than others, but I can handle it. I wouldn't want to miss a thing.
Recitals, my birthday.
Hold it. You don't have to read the whole paper. Pick what's important to you. Now that's time well spent.
Wonderful, exciting, more convenient, the best. That's what customers say about the new Wask. Superior quality, widest selection, better than sale prices. Only at the new Wask Furniture Fashions, the discounter of fine home furnishings.
Finally tonight, a Detroit woman celebrated a very special birthday today at the place she works.
Everything needed from the shopping cart.
She's 104 years old today. She marked the event by doing just what she does most days, volunteering at her local hospital. Workers there had planned a birthday party, which she enjoyed, but soon she left the festivities to continue her rounds. Fern has been volunteering for more than 30 years, and she's touched thousands of lives.
She'll share some of her life secrets, all that she have done. And then they feel, well, if Fern can do all this for me and others, then surely I can do something for myself, like sitting up in a chair or trying to walk or turn in bed.
And Vern says the secret to her longevity is walking and 11 hours of beauty sleep. I think that would be great.
Start doing that,
I know.
and get more sleep.
Oh, the 11 hours sounds wonderful. And just before we go, Flames, they got to do well now.
They got to start winning and fast home to Buffalo Sabres on Saturday night.
All right. That's it for us. Have a great night. We're back here tomorrow.
Good night.
Good night.